face to face with brutal killers.
I whipped out my deer rifle. That's when the shooting started going down.
How can we understand their heinous crimes?
The cleansing would be the killing of the wicked people.
One man probes the minds.
Do you feel that there was anger building up?
Of violent criminals.
He was setting up his own death. He wanted me to shoot him.
To reveal the secrets of those who are most evil. A scale exists to measure the darkest corners of human behavior. It weighs the criminal mind and the crime. From impulsive murderers to serial killers, this 22-point scale attempts to determine who are the most evil. Shocking crimes, nightmarish acts of torture and cruelty. Even when the identity of a criminal is revealed, a burning question remains: why? To uncover the motives behind murder and violence, investigators rely on experts, witnesses, and crime scene evidence. But perhaps nothing is more revealing than an interview with the killer. Forensic psychiatrist Dr. Michael Stone has been probing the minds of criminals for decades. He's the creator of the 22-level scale that measures degrees of evil by weighing motive, method, and malice. Key among the many research tools he uses are face-to-face meetings. While it is sometimes difficult to sort through all the possible motives for murder, these interviews always yield valuable insights.
It is one thing to read about these killers in books, newspapers, or even psychiatric evaluations, but quite another to meet them in the flesh. How they react to my questions, whether they express any empathy for their victims, whether they lie about their crimes, all these things tell me a great deal about what drives human beings to commit murder.
Coy Wayne Westbrook shot and killed his estranged wife and 4 others at a party.
I was a man who just had enough, who was driven to a point that he went over the edge.
In Ohio, in the Midwest, cult member Ron Luff took part in the execution of an entire family.
But I felt duty-bound as someone who has to carry out some judgment.
Diana Dial had delusions that she was being stalked by assassins and believed her landlord was part of the conspiracy. She gunned him down.
Jack had poisoned me. He had fed me a poison on Hitler's birthday.
For more than 20 years, Daniel Nieto unleashed violence and mayhem in California.
I figure that I've been damaged years. Years of pain, years of tragedy, years of abandonment, years of just chaos.
In his efforts to understand why these people committed their crimes, Dr. Stone calls on every source of information available to him.
To place these killers on my scale, I must learn as much as I can about their state of mind. Is there a history of childhood abuse? Do they act on impulse, or do they coldly plan their crimes? Do they lie, changing the story in their favor? Or do they accept responsibility?
One of the most common motives for murder is revenge. Revenge killings permeate many levels of the scale, but to truly understand these crimes, Dr. Stone must get to the source. Coy Wayne Westbrook provides a classic example of a revenge murderer. In November 1997, Westbrook's estranged wife, Gloria Jean Coons, invited him to her home. Westbrook said he was anticipating a reconciliation, but instead he found a party in progress. Gloria told him that she had just had sex with one of her guests and was planning to have sex with another. Minutes later, Westbrook opened fire with a hunting rifle, killing all 5 people in the house. Dr. Stone traveled to Texas to meet Westbrook, hoping to pinpoint exactly what had set off the slaughter.
Something was wrong. I just had a gut feeling something was fixing to happen.
Over decades of studying violent criminals, Dr. Michael Stone has found that one of the most valuable tools to understanding a murderer is a face-to-face meeting. In Huntsville, Texas, he interviewed revenge killer Coy Wayne Westbrook. On November the 13th, 1997, Westbrook was invited to his estranged wife's house. He expected that she wanted to discuss getting back together. Instead, he found a party in full swing. His wife taunted him by saying she'd had sex with one of the partygoers and was about to have sex with another. Westbrook killed 5 people.
Mr. Westbrook's crime seems to have all the hallmarks of a revenge-fueled killing spree. But I hope to discover if his rage was ignited at that particular moment, or if, as the prosecution argued, whether Westbrook had gone to the party with the intention to kill, which would make it a premeditated act of revenge. I hope that by speaking with Westbrook, I will find out what really triggered the crime and possibly gain greater insight into the lethal potential that revenge has.
You can hear me okay, Mr. Westbrook?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I read recently you were saying that you yourself didn't understand why the heck you did what you did. Maybe the two of us could figure out a little more together why all that happened. So the main feeling that you could recall, welling up in you as you think back about it?
Something abnormally was going to happen. I mean, something was wrong. I just had a gut feeling something was fixing to happen. We had problems before with her doing this same thing, and we had discussed it over, a period of time.
Cheating on you with different guys?
Right. I don't know. Some people like their women kind of trashy, You've heard of a bad boy syndrome? Well, I had a bad girl syndrome, and I got attracted to that.
Did you feel that there was anger building up year by year, the 10 years that you were with Gloria?
Constantly. I mean, I went through all those years of her going around behind my back while I was at work. She was seeing other men.
Pretty offensive.
Constantly. I mean, she did stuff. She would run off and her friends would hide her. Ruthie and them would tell me, well, we don't know where she's at. And she'd be hiding in some closet in their house. Or, and I knew she was in the house. There was no doubt in my mind where she was at.
So you didn't start out like a dynamite, but they kind of made you into dynamite, and then they were playing with dynamite.
Right. My sister told me that. She said, well, you knew how she was before you ever actually got with her, didn't you? And I said, well, no, not really. I said, I didn't realize all that. I said, I just wasn't. I said, I guess I was living in a world of denial. I didn't want to realize what was going on.
But you must have been very drawn to her or in love with her in a certain way or attracted to her, something or other that you wanted to try to get things back together or make a reconciliation, you think?
It was I guess you could say, a sexual attraction.
Mm-hmm. But it must have been kind of strong that you wanted to hang in there for all those years, even though you sensed that there was things about her that were not right.
Well, see, other people would try to take advantage of her. I never tried to take advantage of her. I always treated her right, kept food on the table. I did what every American man's supposed to do for his family, to keep them fed, keep them clothed, and keep them happy. But she wasn't happy with that. She wanted to roam the streets, and she wanted to be with her rowdy friends.
Now, how did this effort to get back with her come down? In other words, did she give you a call?
She told me, I want to talk to you. She said, we need to talk. And I said, well, what do we want to talk about? I said, it's pretty obvious you don't want to be with me. You're not happy with me. She said, well, I love you. I want you to come over here and we need to talk.
Was a gun loaded when you drove over? Was it, you always keep a loaded gun in the car?
Yeah, because I went to bad sections